folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. We just had a pretty good rain come through here, and I've been out working on the bees. I've done a couple of videos, did an unboxing, but thought I would do a quick walk around, show you the garden and stuff, and maybe a little bit of chicken stuff on what's going on there. A few people have been asking how it's going with all of that, and I just haven't had time to keep up with video on a lot of that this year, so I've been focusing mainly on the bees. So real quick, let me show you something that I got right here. So this is 3 empty honey supers, and I'm going to leave them out here for a day or two and let the bees clean up on them a little bit, but they are cleaned out. So when I was looking for some honey to test, I went through one of my strongest hives to the top, and I looked down and I could see that comb that, you know what it looks like when it's robbed out. I don't know if I can get this out of here. Yeah, that's what robbed out comb looks like. It's all ground up where they chewed the caps off and cleaned it out. So I don't know what happened to that hive. I last checked it June 1st at the end of May, and it had some queen cups that were dry. I cleaned all those out, and at that time it had 2 supers and they were working them hard, and I checked it later and it had 3 full supers, and you know, it's like, it's good to go, right? Well, if you don't go in and look at your hives, you don't know if something's going wrong. I don't know what happened. Last I saw a queen in there, it was a good looking queen. She was a nice blonde queen, and man, she looked good. So she must have swarmed, and that may have been some of the swarms that I saw. I didn't keep ahead of my swarms as much as I wanted to this year. They swarmed late, so I wasn't quite ready. This is where my aerobic septic field sprays the water, and so I've got clover growing out here. You can see down here, white Dutch clover. So the cherry tree that we planted in the fall is doing well. Didn't get any cherries. It bloomed. You know, it's not big enough yet, but it's a nice cherry tree. Wife picked that up. And I bought there's a little plum tree here that I've been nursing along. It's come up from roots, so it's probably not very good plums, but that's still growing there. I bought that a bare root at Tractor Supply. It was like probably half dead when I got it. And I have this is the Honeycrisp that I bought and planted this spring. Looks like we got a bagworm on there. Get out of here. And it's doing okay. The leaves are getting the rust on it, and I think that's the cedar apple rust from these cedar trees around in here. But I've been trying to get the comfrey under control around it, so it's not so taken over with that. So the chickens, they like this comfrey. In fact, let's get them a little bit. The chickens are doing good. We've lost a few, just whatever. No real diseases or anything this year, which is a good thing. Got one that's not doing too well. That gray one back there. Been giving her antibiotics occasionally, but her where she does the eggs, it's just they're not coming out, and she gets infections, and she's an old chicken. She's like that gray one right there. So been putting frozen peach peels and all that out here. I freeze them and bring them out in a block, and that's why that's got a lot of peach pits in it. So they clean that up, and we get also the green beans the ends. We'll cook the green bean ends, and I'll freeze that into a block, and I'll set it out here on a hot day, and they'll peck on that while the ice is melting. But yeah, chickens are doing good. I think we got like 14, 15. Still getting good eggs. They slow down a little bit with the heat. Got a couple there. Looks like we got 5 so far today. The chicken that doesn't do very good, she's all swollen up. She roosts right here because she can't get up on the roost. That's why it's kind of poopy in there. Got some sunflowers growing up here in the brooder, which we didn't have any chicks this year, so that's no big deal. This is the green feeder. I didn't get it going this year. I didn't have time to get the clover going in there. But we haven't had any predator problems since I put up this 6-foot fence, and has the netting on top. And the automatic chicken door is still working good there, working off of solar. Got some solar lights in the coop. So this is where I had my onions, and they were in here. The garlic was right here, it's harvested. Onions right here, it's harvested. And I got this stuff coming in, and it's like a perennial. It comes up from root. Man, I don't know what it is, but I cannot get it out of there. So I think I'm going to use the much dreaded and hated Roundup and shock this and kill all this stuff, because it's just taking over. It's working its way into the main garden. There's a Bumble. Hey, Bumble. So that's cucumbers right there in the raised bed garden. Let's walk around into there. And this was the cold frame, which I had lettuce in this in the spring. Grew lettuce over winter. That's just taken over with weeds. Some of the wife's daylilies. And passion flower, passion fruit. Some of these. Bees really like those. They're kind of closed up right now. There's one of the fruits. A couple of the fruits. And got some zinnias and other things out here. But this is how I water. I keep these little orbit watering systems and run it off a hose, and it goes to my multiple gardens. This one goes to the lower garden, and there's one inside the raised bed as well. I water like 20 minutes twice a day with those on a drip system. This is some herbs here. Got spearmint and lemon balm and peppermint. This little planter here, it gets kind of hot. The roots get hot. They don't do so great there. But you got to be careful with those herbs, man. They'll take over. Oh, these zinnias are really pretty here. And there's also cardinal vine that's starting up here. And it'll have red blooms. That stuff's a little invasive. And there's some dahlias right there. They're not blooming yet. And looks like we've got almost 2 inches of rain. Sheesh. This rain needs, I never thought I'd say in July, this rain needs to stop. Gosh, it needs to dry out so I can harvest honey. The honey's too wet. So in here I had broccoli, which it didn't do too well. The bugs liked it fine, but we didn't get much. Ooh, there's an assassin bug. Check him out. Other known as a wheel bug, because their back looks like a wheel, I guess. And we got some sunflowers growing in here now after the broccoli. And green beans all the way around the back and up here, and also on the back there. And this was cilantro, and it's all dried and gone to seed, and got that stupid viney crap coming up in here now. And this is carrots, which I need to harvest carrots. I might do that today. And cucumbers, which there's probably some in here that we can grab. Here's one there. Yeah, that's just right. Nice cucumber there. There's another one. So I like these, make refrigerator pickles. Southern Food Junkie has a really good recipe for that. There's another one there. Yeah, those are perfect. And making dill pickles a little bit. I got a tomato plant back here. It came up volunteer. And another 2 rows of beans going here. These are Blue Lake Bush, but we've got some vining ones in here that I don't know how they get in there, but they're stringy and we don't like those. These ones with the curved pod like that, they're just stringy and not very good to eat. We like the straight pod ones. That's the Blue Lake. Right there, those are Blue Lake ones that they're not stringy and they're better. There's the good ones right there. So we planted all bush and there's some vines coming up. Like some of them are volunteer. And peppers, I got cayenne. So I'm going to make some dried cayenne and make some pepper flakes. And there's a volunteer tomato plant coming up in there. And this is a Tricked You jalapeno here. These are good. You can eat these right off the vine and they won't burn your face off. And this is an orange bell here. Wife wanted some bell peppers that were colored, not just the green ones. And I thought I got a red one, but I accidentally got something different. It's a Mad Hatter. And I have no idea what that is, but as far as temperature, need to look it up. There's what they look like. Looks like a hat, I guess. Yeah, I got that. And then there's a really big jalapeno here. It makes large jalapenos, and these are the hot ones. Strawberries. We got a lot of strawberries early on. They slowed quite way down here since it's gotten really hot. And another row of green beans on the outside of this trellis. So on the trellis last year we had the Kentucky Wonder pole beans and they didn't do very well. They didn't make beans, and so I put the tomatoes in here this year. They seem to be doing good. The heat's really taking its toll on them here. But you can see going to have a lot of tomatoes coming on here pretty soon. And we've got a lot off as well here in the last couple of weeks. Been eating those bacon and tomato sandwiches. Man, they're good. So most of the tomatoes I've been getting have been along in these plants here, and there's going to be a bunch here coming on shortly. Hopefully later on, like closer to the fall, we'll have tomatoes up here as these vines grow up. And there's some of those climbing Kentucky Wonder pole beans are on this coming up volunteer, and there's some passion flower up on this as well. That's what these big leaves here are. Okay, let's get down to we got tomatoes back here. Probably got 35, 40 tomato plants, but they're not in the best health. Hey, there's a Gulf flitter butterflies. They eat the foliage on these passion flowers and lay their eggs. And you'll see the caterpillars. There he is. I don't know if you saw him or not, or her. Let's see, about the only fruit we got because of the late freeze is pears. And the little pears on this tree are not the best. Peaches we got from other folks that we have so far. No apples on the apple tree. This peach tree had tons of blooms and it was looking good, but they all died from the late freeze. Oh, there's one. And it is ugly. One peach. And Yeah, there's another peach over there, and we bought a new one. I'll show you those other fruit trees here in just a sec. So here's the lower garden. This is one we tilled up, and this is out of natural native soil and compost that I've added to it from the chicken coop and just composting in this big area over here. Oh, got a lot of wood chips. So these wood chips are good in your flower beds for mulching, and they actually start composting after a while and start making really rich soil. And here's my compost pile. There's a pile underneath all of that, and that's older, and this is all from cleaning up in spring, cleaning up garden and whatnot, so, and flower beds. And got some sunflowers coming up volunteer over here. And this dang Johnson grass, I hate this stuff. You can't get rid of it, it's everywhere. It just takes over. So let's go into this lower garden here real quick. And I got the poultry net from when I had this on the coop, and to keep the raccoons out of it this year. And got the fence shocker on there. And the asparagus did really good this year. Just letting it grow now. Got quite a few shoots off of it in the spring. Yeah, there's one right there we could probably eat. Now over here I've got watermelon. And this year I'm trying to train the vines to go all this direction and not just go all over and take over the whole area. But I got my seeds in a little late. And this row here is cantaloupe. And I think I had a baby watermelon over here. But I haven't seen any cantaloupes yet. Oh, there's my baby watermelon right there. So hopefully we'll have a few watermelons. And cantaloupe were pretty good last year. They did well. There's one right there. And what was bad about them though is right when they got ripe, the raccoons, man, they could smell them, and they came in and they would munch down on them. So you had to pick them a little bit early. So tomatoes down here, they never have done real well. There's about 20 on this trellis here, and I've got a drip system on them. I keep them watered good. I think at times they got a little too much water, but the soil just isn't the same quality down here as it is up in that raised bed. But we got a few blooms. Some of them are looking better than others. But man, I envision this trellis just full of foliage and just full of tomatoes, and it just never has gotten there. I've got a few tomatoes from down here already, but they're just not big. So we got a lot of leaf curl going on from the heat. So, but yeah, so this gets watered twice a day with that drip system. Each one of those watermelon mounds has a 5 gallon an hour emitter, and there's 2 drip lines on that are just straight drip lines that are spaced 12 inches apart. Oh my gosh, the sun is out now, and the humidity is, it is really humid, sultry, and the mosquitoes are out in full force. So here's apricot tree. It bloomed nice, and no apricots. They all got froze. And this peach is an early peach, and it had lots of blooms. No peaches. And it looks like, I don't know what that is. That might be the left remnants of a peach that may have survived. Yeah, I see a few up in there that are like that. They're all dried out and dead. Lost a big limb off of this last year. It come off right there. It fell over. It was covering this area. So we let all the peaches ripen out here, and then we took care of it. This is the wife's cut flower area. Never have got it going yet with her injury to her hand and all. But I did get the plastic off of it and got it covered with the wood chip mulch and got the weeds suppressed. And we do have some Russian sage going here along the edge. And supposedly that stuff's hard to kill, and that's what I need. Some stuff that can take anything. I think there's 4 or 5 of those, and bees like those. So we got a few new fruit trees over here, a couple, 3. And they're doing well. So this is a plumquat, whatever the heck that is. And I think this one here is just a regular plum that's supposed to pollinate the plumquat. Yeah, Santa Rosa plum, healthy looking tree. And here's another peach, and it is a red haven peach. So those look good in their first year. And you know it's summer and the webworms show up. So we've got some really good rains, some heavy rains, and actually got the pond filled up. It hadn't had this much water in it in over a year. I think last spring a year ago was when it had this much water in it. But water's starting to clear up. Usually the water around here is like really muddy. So a lot of the dirt work I have is finally getting grassed over, and clearer water's coming down. I'm letting that cottonwood grow, and just to see if it's going to turn out to be a female one that has the cottony seeds, and if it does, I'm going to take it out. Let's walk over by the beehives real quick, down a little trail here. All the game cameras are doing good down in the woods down there. Got lots of shots of the mama deer. I think we have 4 fawns this year. We got twins, and we have 2 new mamas that have single ones. Okay, quick overview on the bees. So I was down here this morning working on them, and stole the queen out of this one, and ooh, they're mad. Stole the queen out of that one on the end and moved it down to 22, the one with the brick. And the one that was here on the end, I took that to Michael, the boy that needed a beehive, and got him started on a beehive. And I had a hive fail, so these 2 nukes here got double deckers. So I brought frames over from that failed hive and put in there, and to protect that comb, and they were ready, so that's a good thing. And I probably could have put a couple in that one right there, that apame as well. But bees are starting to fly a little bit now, looks like. Alfalfa is blooming again 2 miles north of me, so hopefully they can get on that and bring in some more. But I need to get my supers harvested, and I can't because of the rain and the high moisture content in the honey right now. And things are going good over on this side, except I just lost that one, and it's the hive that's on the end right down there. It's a single now, but it's totally cleaned out. It was a double deep and had 3 full honey supers, and they were cleaned out, so that's disappointing. But we're going to harvest honey probably, I'd guess, in a couple weeks. I need it to stop raining. Well, that is it. I will end the video here. Little four-wheeler tour around the edge of the property there. So hope you enjoyed it. Garden's doing, I'd say, better this year than last year. Last year it was hot and dry. This year it's hot and wet. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up on the video, and we'll catch you on the next Jerome Bee Farm video. I'll take care.